Alright. So, here we are in AFR Tier 3, round 4. And we're around Zandvoort, the Dutch Grand Prix. And we just witnessed Arbusion crashing his car, but I just looked at the chat that it was due to his pedals failing, so that is unfortunate for the Haas driver as Drix sets the first lap 1:10.9, so it's a banker lap for the Alfa Romeo reserve driver. As we're watching Cade in the McLaren, the other reserve driver. And he does a 1:11.3 as his first banker. And he spins at turn 1 just to her. That was funny. Okay, maybe not the telemetry actually. But Striker. Striker now on a lap with the Ferrari term. I think he's actually completed that lap. 1:12.6. Yeah, he's completed that one. The Zandvoort is, of course, a very short circuit and a very fast circuit. It's also very tight. It's going to be very difficult to overtake around here. But hopefully we still see an exciting race today in the Tier 3. Let's see who we got. This Williams now on a lap, or starting a lap. M-Dog. The M-Dog now starting a lap. Into turn 1 we go. That's a hairpin corner. Now we go into turn 2, which is a fast corner. Then we go to turn 3, which is a banked left-hander. We go down and then uphill. Then we go into the fast section. Absolutely flat out through turn 4, 5, and 6. Then we go into turn 7, a long right-hander and very fast. Shift down a gear. And going on the outside curve into turn 8. Shift down another gear. It's a very fast circuit, as you said, so... and it's also short, like it's one of the shortest on the calendar. I think Monaco is the shortest on the calendar. Maybe this is the second shortest. Here we go into the chicane, where there is a fake gravel trap that they installed there in real life. So, very interesting. And now to the final 2 corners. This is a tricky corner. If you hit that curb too much, then you'll spin out on the exit. And now into the final corner. A banked corner reminds me of the Indianapolis banking at the last corner. M-Dog across the line, 11.5. So it's a good lap from the Williams. And we've got Rat. Actually, let's go on board with Apex. Apex is about to finish his lap in the Red Bull. He comes across the line with a 1:11.8, so Apex not on the pace at the moment in his banker lap. Expected him to be quicker than that. We are missing 2 drivers from this race. 1 Red Bull and 1 Mercedes? No. I don't know what the other team is that is missing. Need to check that one. I think we're missing a Williams. No. Oh yeah, no. There's a Haas, one Haas. So we're missing a Haas and a Red Bull. We've got Cade reserving in the McLaren for Bully. Bully has not attended any races this season, so it's a bit of a unfortunate one for him. No one is reserving. Jacobmeister is the one on the Haas. He is not racing, but no one has reserved for a spot. Dump and Stump is not coming in the Alfa Romeo. That's what Drix is. Drix has got a seat in Alfa Romeo as a reserve. And we have also... Yeah, Valhalla is the missing Red Bull. That doesn't have a reserve either. Otherwise, and also John Hayoni, the driver who raced in Saudi Arabia, he has a full-time seat now at McLaren, so we welcome him to the league, of course. Now, we're riding on board with the AlphaTauri of King J. AlphaTauri have not been on good form in Tier 3, but let's see what they can do today in Zandvoort. So King J about to come around the final corner, starting a lap. So yeah, King J coming around the banked corners. So let's see as he goes into the first sector split, what does he do? He's got a purple sector 1, so he is up on Drix's first sector. So it's looking like a good lap so far from the AlphaTauri. As now we go into the twisty part of the track, the second sector, and towards the chicane. The second DRS zone now. There is a yellow flag. There's a McLaren spun just before the second last corner. King J goes to the second sector split. He's 4 tenths up. And also purple in sector 2, so he's purple in the first 2 sectors. Does this mean he'll take provisional pole? As he comes to the last corner, he's missed the apex slightly there. I could even tell from the off-board that he missed the apex there as he goes to the last corner. King J takes a tighter line to go for a faster run as he comes across the line with a 1:11.7, only goes into P9. So it's a decent lap for King J, but I think he could have done better. He missed the apex at the second last corner from what it looked like anyway. He is ahead of his teammate Mickey and apex as well. And just behind Farmer Sam. Striker, 7 tenths up. Well, he improved by 7 tenths. Rat is now starting a lap in the Mercedes, turn 1. Has gone through turn 1. That banking is such a satisfying corner to watch. It's going from downhill, up the hill again. It's such a satisfying corner to watch. I hope we see some action around there in today's race here. And he goes almost flat out through turn 7 there. Lights with a 1:10.957, only 100th ahead of Drix. Alfa Romeo 1-2 at the moment in qualifying so far. As Rat has a McLaren in front of him. Is he going to impede him? No, not quite. Rat now coming into the chicane. Let's see what he can do as he comes to the last 2 corners. 5th gear through that second last corner, and now into the last corner. The banked corner, last corner. Now Rat with DRS across the line with a 1:11.9 as well, so P14. Very close quali in the midfield. We've only separated 5th to 14th, separated by 6 tenths there, or less than 6 tenths, so very close midfield. It's also very close to pole position. Light, Strix and Fluxy all separated by less than a tenth. So that is very close between the top 3. And now Cade is 2 tenths behind, so There's a little bit of a gap, but the top three all separated by less than a tenth. Sounds like the real life Grand Prix where Verstappen, Leclerc and Sainz also separated by less than a tenth. So it's pretty realistic right now. But yeah, very close quali so far. And Apex now, starting another lap with 6 minutes to go. Oh, he's hit the curb a lot at turn 3. He's actually not on a lap. He's flashing his ERS is flashing, so that means he's not pushing this lap. So I think this is like now the period where people come into the pits. As Drix takes back the pole position with a 110.7. That's a big statement for Drix there. He has taken pole position ahead of Lights. The reserve driver, mind you, he's just a reserve driver, driving and jumping a stumps Alfa Romeo. And he has taken the original pole back from his teammate for tonight, Lights. The championship leader, of course, Lights as well, winning the last 2 races of the season. Jeddah and Spa, he won the last 2 rounds and is the championship leader of Tier 3. At the moment, though, in Tier 3, the standings right now, Cade, a little bit of a slide there. But let's see, as I was saying, Lights is the championship leader in Tier 3. Then we have the M-Dog in second place. He has a P2 in Saudi, but otherwise stayed consistent. And he's ahead of Farmer Sam, who has been fighting for the win in all 3 rounds this season, but just didn't really get it towards the end of the race. He just lost out slightly. So, and then Apex in P4 with 2 podiums to his name, and yeah, not a good start for him in Bahrain after the puncture that he got. And Cade and Drix, the 2 reserve drivers, 5th and 6th, and then Fluxy in the Aston Martin, who's in P3 in qualifying right now. He's in P7 in the standings with a podium in the last race in Spa, and also a 10th and 11th. So he's actually not been up there, but hopefully we can see more from him in today's race with him in the top 3 at the moment. Here we go. We're looking at the M-Dog. P2 in the Drivers' Championship, as we mentioned. Been pretty consistent with 1 podium to his name, the P2 in Saudi, with a P6 in Bahrain, and a P4 last race in Spa. As he takes to the grass there, and he's 200ths up on his time, so he won't improve his position if it stays like that. His teammate, the Z-Dog, is in front of him, so the 2 Williams next to each other on the grid at the moment. As the AlphaTauri gets out of the way of the M-Dog, as now into the chicane and into the last 2 corners, he needs to nail them to get a good lap in here. He did a pretty good second last corner there. Can he improve in the last corner as he comes up to the line? And it's a 1. Oh, he improved by 15 thousandths. Doesn't improve on the position though. It's a 111.295 for the M-Dog. Let's see Dodge, the other Aston Martin. Fluxy's teammate. Oh, and he's lagging quite a lot. So Dodge is a couple of less than a 10th up as well, yeah, so it's very, very close between these lap times. There's not much time, there's not much of a time difference between 2 laps of Zandvoort. It's a very short track. And here we go, Dodge comes across the line, and he will do a 111.3, only improves by 0.05, half a tenth, but stays in P7. Let's ride on board with so Lights comes across the line. Can he take back pole position? Can he take back the provisional pole as he comes across the line? Oh, not quite 0.04 behind Drix there. So, could that be secured pole position for Drix, the reserve driver, in that Alfa Romeo? 3,000s down the first sector, though. Or can Fluxy bring a surprise in that Aston Martin? Only 2/10 behind the two Alphas at the front. As now Drix coming into the second sector, last sector coming up now as we head into the chicane. What's the split? As he comes, he's at 800th up, he's improving on his time currently. He is very fast through that chicane. He is so committed. Oh, and he's oversteered. Maybe a bit too much. Maybe pushing too hard there. Oh, and he's drifting again out of the second last corner. That's the end of his lap here. I think he would have improved by a little bit there. Fluxy is not on a proper lap at the moment. But maybe he's going to be on one now. No, Fluxy is in the pits, so it looks like at the moment that Drix will be on pole from lights. The two Alfa Romeo locking out the front row. There we go to Fluxy in P3. And Cade there in P4 in the McLaren. Apex moved up to P5 on his last lap, and Dodge spun out in turn 1. Let's see what Farmer Sam can do. Farmer Sam, one of the contenders at the front of the field, as we saw in the last few races, the first 3 races of the season. Drix has got pole position at the moment, but can Farmer Sam do something about this? Let's see as he heads into the banked corner. Runs a little bit wide on the exit. This is the Alpine driver. There's also the AlphaTauri behind. On a lap farmer, it still says Farmer Sam's on an out lap. I don't think that's right. It looks like it's a fast lap to me, judging by his pace. You know, that's a little bit bugged, I think. Farmer Sam is not on an out lap right now. As he comes around into the last 2 corners, what can Farmer Sam do as he comes into the final corner? Takes a wider line, or takes a tighter line, I should say. Comes across the line. A 111.4, so only P9 for the Alpine. King J takes P11, 111.6. So it looks like that's your order. Drix on pole position, lights in P2, and Alfa Romeo front row. Fluxy taking P3 for Aston Martin, and then Cade in 4th, reserving in the McLaren, and then Apex in P5. And the 2 Williams. Okay, I'll go through the results again actually after this little sequence. Okay, so Drix taking pole position from lights, and Alfa Romeo front row lockout. Fluxy in P3, Cade in P4, Apex P5, the Z-Dog and the M-Dog, the 2 Williams in P6 and 7, then Dodge in P8, Farmer Sam in P9, and Rat in P10, rounding out the top 10. King J in P11, Sky Souls, and Werribboy, Striker, then Mickey, John Hayoni, Cooper Cowboy, and Arbusian not setting a time in P18 after crashing out early on due to a problem with his pedals. So here we go, the race. And we also have the formation lap turned back on after the fix has been made to the tyre temps being cold on the race start. So we will have the formation lap back on for the first time this season. So we have some manual grid. We have the manual grid lineups. We'll see if anyone. Oh, it's actually raining at the start, so we could see a bit of an interesting start here. There you go. So rain at the start of this race. Will it dry up though? Is the question. So yeah, and as we said, as you said, there will be a formation lap. It has been enabled again after that bug fix. So we'll, as we said as well, we'll see the manual grid lineup. We could see some interesting stuff with the manual grid lineup. So here we are on the formation lap here in Zandvoort. Everyone's starting on the intermediates, obviously, as it's a wet start. Drix on pole position. The Alfa Romeos in first and second place. Obviously, the pit stop strategy is inters to inters, but we don't know if the track will dry up at some point at the end of the race or during the race. So obviously everyone will be starting on the inters for this start, which means that if it does dry up at some point in the race, we will see people going on to any tyre of their choice, whether it's hards, mediums or softs, depending on when it ends. That will be an interesting call for most of the drivers. But yeah, here we go, we're about to get underway in Zandvoort. Let's see what the drivers do as Farmer Sam has been disqualified, or he's been removed from the formation lap, more like. But let's see what the drivers do. How will they line up? I've seen people before lining up at a bit of an angle to cover off or go aggressive at the race start. Let's see. Will anyone park at an angle on the grids? Doesn't look like it at the moment. I mean, Lights or Drix have not done a parked angle, so doesn't look like at the moment. Looks like they've all straightened up as Apex has got the lining up of the grid quite wrong there, as Arbusian now lining up at the back in the Haas, and we will get underway here in Zandvoort. Here we go, the lights are coming on. I've not got the greatest camera angle, but here we go. We are away for the Dutch Grand Prix round 4 of AFR Tier 3 as Drix gets a good start, but Lights is coming alongside him. He will take the lead into the first corner as there's a bit of contact. The two Alfa Romeos are side by side into the first few corners, but who will come out on top? Drix will come out on top as he comes around the outside of his teammate there. So Drix holds on to the lead as Fluxy keeping P3, and there's a bit of battling behind. The Z-Dog has dropped all the way down to P10 after starting in the top 5. Okay, so Farmer Sam has said in the chat it will dry up in 10 minutes. So we will see the dry tyres being run in this race in around 10 minutes. So maybe about 6 laps or so in the wet as Lights trying to go around the outside of his teammate through this section coming towards the chicane. He has got that move done. He has taken the lead. The championship leader gets into the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix right now, as that's a crucial move for his championship. I mean, he's ahead by 20 points or so, but Lights has made the move on his teammate into the lead. The championship leader back in the lead of this race as Fluxy is now running in the back of him. So we saw that in Spa last week, Drix also got pole position, but he dropped off in the race. It seems like he is a bit, he's a lot better in qualifying compared to race conditions. And it's showing it again that Drix is now dropping back in the race compared to his qualifying. Lights already having a 1 second lead. He is bolted. And now Fluke's in the Aston Martin all over the back of Drix right now. The pole sitter, once again, not defending his lead for very long. As you see Apex and Farmer Sam and the N-Dog battling there for P4. As you see King J and Scarsouls has gone off at the back. Let's see what happened there. So Scarsouls has, I think he just lost it, no damage for the Mercedes. Anyway, let's go back to this battle for P6 right now. M-Dog trying to look around the outside of the Farmer Sam. Cade just behind as well in that McLaren. As we head into the chicane for the second time today, Lights is pulling out a 1.5 second lead over his teammate, his reserve teammate Drix is now the M-Dog trying to look on the inside of the Alpine of Farmer Sam. They're going to go side by side through the banked corner. This is very scary in wet conditions especially, but Farmer Sam holds on to that place and gets into P5 as now the M-Dog looking on the outside, so good defensive driving from Farmer Sam there. M-Dog getting better traction as you head into turn 2. He's almost got spun there. Cade will take advantage of that and take 6th place. Cade has got that position back, but now M-Dog with great traction on that car. He's got great traction with the setup he's made. He has got right back past the McLaren. So there's some great traction on that Williams right now. As you see, Apex still in the back of Fluxy, but not able to pass. As now Fluxy has dropped off the back of Drix, so looks like the Alfa Romeos are going to stay 1-2 for a bit longer. It looked like Fluxy was going to challenge him, but he's now dropped back a little bit. But at the back we have Arbusion on the back of Sky Souls, and we have Hayoni on the back of Mickey. And we also have, Farmer Sam heading into the pit lane. Could this be for the dries? A gamble early on the dry tyres for Farmer Sam, possibly? Or is that for wing damage of some sort? No, he's just going in for another pit stop onto the inters. I don't know about that one, when it's going to dry up soon. He might have made a mistake there. I'm not sure about that one from Farmer Sam. I don't think another set of inters was the call. I think you meant to go into dry tyres there. Anyway, moving on. Apex in P4 right now, still on the back of that Aston Martin Fluxy. The Red Bull doing really well so far. As like I said in qualifying, we don't see much overtaking around here, especially without DRS right now in the rain. So the chances of overtakes are not very high, but hopefully we see someone DRS gets enabled later. I don't know about the call from Farmer Sam though. It's a bit of an odd one. If he's gone to another set of inters when it's drying up soon, I'm not sure on that one. I'm really not sure on that one, honestly. Although Apex is diving on Fluxy, I did not see that coming. As there we go, the Aston Martin, the Red Bull fighting it out into turn 2. But not quite there as the Red Bull, as the Aston Martin stays ahead of the Red Bull. As Farmer Sam gets a 5-second penalty for spinning in the pit lane, so maybe he did make a mistake and has come back into the pit lane. He's got wing damage and he's gone onto the medium. Striker also in the pits, also on the mediums. Farmer Sam having an absolute disaster so far, and not a great start for him as Fluxy has had an incident. He has spun out on the exit of that corner, turn 8, and the Aston Martin is dropping all the way back to P13, maybe 14. And there's a safety car deployed because of that. Because he was stopped on track there, the safety car has come out. So this makes things interesting now. I think everyone will be in the pits for the dry tyres now. Fluxy, I think that was most likely caused by Fluxy being stopped on the side of the track there. Not damage or anything. I think it was just mainly stopped by... I think it was mainly deployed by that. So Lights coming into the pits. Here we go on to hards. Dodge gets a 5-second penalty. The Alfa Romeos will be double stacking. Drix on the mediums. Drix going onto the mediums. Lights on the hards. very split strategy from Alpha. The M-Dog also on the hards, Cade on the mediums, Dodge on the mediums, Rat on the mediums, King J on hards, Hayoni on the mediums, Arbusion on mediums, Mickey on hards as well, so both Alpha Tauris going on the hard tyres. Kufa Cowboy on the mediums, Fluxy on the hards. He might come out behind Striker there because of the cold tyres. And Scarsouls on the mediums. Farmer Sam will come in again to serve that 5-second penalty. And probably switch to the hards as well because he's already on mediums. So not a good start for the Alpine driver, but this safety car will now save him. I think the safety car will now save him from the disaster start that he had. Well, you got to thank Fluxy for that one. Fluxy's spin and him staying on the track, like stopping on the track, sometimes stopping on the track actually causes a safety car, which is a bit weird, but there you go. It has caused it once again, so. Fluxy up in P3 is now down into 16th because of that. And a couple of people also have stayed out on the inters right now. We have, the Zendog is coming in on the inters and Weru Boy as well, but Apex staying out still on the inters. He's going for a gamble here, the Red Bull driver. Weru Boy going on the hards. The Zendog also going on the hards. But Apex is the only one who has stayed out on the inters. This might not be the call from Apex here. It's not realistic for a Red Bull driver to have a bad strategy call, but there you go. It's usually a Ferrari powered team that has or McLaren that has a bad strategy call in real life, but not Red Bull. So it's a Red Bull of Apex staying out on the inters when it's completely dry, and I don't think that's a good call from the Red Bull. But we'll see if it works out. I don't think it'll work out personally. I think we'll have to wait for Farmer Sam as well to catch up to the queue. He is 30 seconds behind, so he might be, the safety car might be out for one more lap. So, at the moment, Apex is completely out of the running, staying out on those intermediates. So your order is now Lights from Drix. And okay, so now Apex goes into the pit lane, so now he's going to drop all the way to the back. It's a bit of a late call, but he's now going to drop all the way to the back now, so it's not really a good call from Apex, but we'll take it. But yeah, now the order is Lights still, leading from Drix and the M-Dog, then K, Dodge, Rat, King J, Peony, Arbusion, and the Z-Dog in P10. Yeah, Apex going on the mediums. So we got Lights, M-Dog, King J, Z-Dog, Weruboy, Mickey, Fluxy, and Farmer Sam on the hards. We've got Drix, K, Dodge, Rat, Peony, Arbusion, Kufa Cowboy and Striker, Scarsouls, and Apex on the mediums. It's a very good mix of tyres. It's a good mix of tyre strategies. The hard runners will want to go to the end, whereas the medium runners could try as well, but it'll be a bit harder to get to the end on those tyres. I think they'll have to stop for softs at the end. The people on mediums will have to probably stop for softs at the end, most likely. So Lights lead, so we should be in this lap. Farmer Sam is now caught up. Yep, there we go. The safety car is in this lap, on lap 8. The rain has stopped. It's completely dried up, and now we will get some dry running and some DRS action for the first time in today's race. Lights leading that safety car. He's backing up the field. Let's see if he can get the jump very well. Here we go, we're about to restart Zandvoort race here in Tier 3 AFR. As we come into the final corner, he should go now, I think. He should go like right now. Yep, there he goes. Lights is gone, and he's gone really fast. Drix is now being challenged by the McLaren and the Williams. He has fell asleep with this restart. Cade on the inside, and the M-Dog as well. But Drix holds on still. Lights with a great restart there. And there's an incident at the back there. A big one. Massive incident. There's a big pile up. There's a Ferrari of Striker. Z-Dog has been involved. King J is off as well. The AlphaTauri, Abusion, and the Haas. 4 cars involved in that incident. And Rat is now out of this race. What is going on? Rat has crashed with the McLaren of Cade. So absolute chaos on this restart here in Zandvoort. As Rat is now out of this race in the Mercedes. Now the M-Dog is now off. What has gone on there? The M-Dog was in P3. And now he's gone off the track. So this is an absolutely chaotic restart. Around about 4 or 5 cars are involved in a Turn 1 incident. And now about 2 or 3 cars involved in a separate incident further up. So that is an absolute chaotic restart. So M-Dog, King J, Z-Dog, Striker, Cade, Abusion out of the running. So 6 drivers, and Rat as well also out of the running. He is out of this race, the first retirement of this race. What a chaotic restart that was. So 7 casualties out of that restart crashing. Also Mickey, Farmer Sam, and Flukes in the pits as well. Half the field has been involved in an incident here. Half the field. That is insane what has happened right now. Literally half the field. It's gone from 9 to 17. That is half the field. Half the field involved in a crash at this restart. I can't believe that. And now because of that, we have got some unlikely contenders in the points right now. We've got Kufa Cowboy in P8, a person who has not scored points this season. Or one of the drivers who has not scored points this season so far. Which is actually many drivers. Obviously Bully, who has not attended a race yet. Conrad, who is not racing anymore. Dodge, Jagermeister, and Dumb and Stump have not scored a point this season. And Kufa Cowboy in P8. So this has been an incredibly chaotic restart. Half the grid. So that's Mickey, Farmer Sam, Flukesy, Cade, Abusion, Striker, King J. And now Scarsoul's out of this race. Both Mercedes have retired from this race as another safety car has been deployed. 2 safety cars within the first 10 laps. This has just gone into absolute chaos. Both Mercedes out of this race. Lights still leading from Drix. Dodge with that 5 second for speeding the pit lane. Hayoni up in P4. Werriboi up in P5. Apex somehow in P6 despite pitting out a safety car for those inters. Kufa Cowboy in P7. Mickey in P8. Farmer Sam, Flixie. They're back in the pits again, so they're now going for hard tyres. And okay, picking up a 5 second penalty. This is absolutely insane. Since this all dried up, and there's a massive incident at the restart. We had quite a few casualties there. That was crazy. Now Abusion's 46 seconds behind, and M-Dog also out of this race. I think he had a bit of an issue there because he was stuck on the curb, or he was like waiting for everyone after he crashed at this corner right here, and he was going very slowly, so he must have had some sort of bodywork damage. So it's unfortunate for M-Dog. He started P3 in this race, second in the championship, and he's now out of this race, unfortunately. But what a crazy restart that was. Absolutely insane. We're about to have another one though. Second restart of this race will come up in a few laps time, of course, when everyone catches up, which is going to take quite a while because it's going to take quite a while because Abusion's 44 seconds behind the pack. You basically had, so you've had 2 retirements, or 3 retirements. 2 of those, or 1 of those retirements were from all those incidents of that first restart. Rat, M-Dog also retired from an incident later on. There's also a McLaren officer as well, and about 5 cars off at turn 1. There was, including the AlphaTauri of King J, and also, and now King J has been disqualified. Could he, maybe he was unlapping himself? Yeah, he was unlapping himself. I saw on the minimap. He was trying to unlap himself. That's fair enough, but still can't do it. I don't know why he can't do it. It makes no sense. Like, he can do it in real life. Why can't he do it in the game? That's unfortunate for King J there. But yeah, both, so one of the AlphaTauris at least, out of this race, and also, yeah, he was one of those ones involved in that incident. Also, Flukes, he was in there, Z-Dog was in there. Quite a few. I just can't believe how chaotic that restart was. That's why I keep talking about it. It was just insane. But now 4 retirements, and we're not even halfway through yet. Halfway through with 36 laps is 18, so. But 2 safety cars. Let's see. Arbusion should be able to catch up. So Dodge has now served that 5-second penalty, so everyone is now clean of penalties again. And now Drix has pitted for the hard tyres, fresh hard tyres. He's in P5 now. So Light's still leading. Hayoni in P2, Wearer Boy in P3, Apex in P4, Drix in P5, Kufi Cowboy up in P6. Person who has not scored this, one of the people who has not scored points this season. Dodge in P7, also a person who has not scored the points this season. Abusion up in P8, then Striker up P9, and then Farmer Sam in P10. Farmer Sam had a disastrous start to this race. Firstly, pitting for another set of inters, and then changing his front wing, going to mediums, 30 seconds behind the pack. Then he got involved in that incident at turn 1 on the restart. So not a good day for Farmer Sam so far. Yeah, we should be in this lap. Or not this lap, I meant next lap. Cade should catch up. Cade will catch up eventually. He's at the last corner now, so yeah, he'll catch up. So only 3 people on the mediums right now. We got Hayoni on the mediums, Apex, and the Z-Dog all on the mediums. Everyone else on the hards. That will go to the end fairly comfortably. The mediums, on the other hand, I'm not sure if they'll go to the end or not. So they might have to pit again, maybe for softs. Yep, safety car is in this lap now. Everyone is now caught up to the grid. Or caught up to the pack, I should say. Lights, once again, do this race start. Let's see if this race start will be a bit more clean. A bit more clean compared to the last race start, as Lights goes again. And a good restart again. Yellow flag already. That is Cade spun out of the back. Is now Apex challenging Werribee. He is now up the inside of him. The Red Bull is on the inside of the Alpine. Apex really going for it there. He was going for a dive bomb into turn 1. He doesn't quite get it. As now the Aston Martin, the Haas, and now Dodge has spun out. He has now got into an instant. Drix is out of the race. And there's more carnage at the restart of this race. Dodge has spun out the Drix, the pole sitter. Once again with a bad one out of this race. Dodge spun out there right into Farmer Sam, who's lost his front wing, so it all goes wrong for Farmer Sam. Again, nothing has gone right for him today. So that's the second restart of the day and the second time we have had carnage. Fluxy has lost his front wing as well. And so is the Ferrari. The Ferrari has no end plate as well, Striker. So, even more carnage at the second restart of this race. This is incredibly chaotic. Hayoni, though, challenging Lights for the lead potentially because he's on the mediums. Apex also challenging Werribee once again. Is he going to go for a dive into turn 1 again? Werribee defending the inside. Apex trying to go round the outside into turn 1. Is he going to get this move done? Yes, he is. Apex goes right around the outside into the podium places. What a move. Hayoni in P2, he is challenging Lights a little bit. He had a little bit of a snap. Yeah, Z-Dog, Striker, Fluxy, and Farmer Sam all in the pit lane. All of them are damaged. With Dodge getting spun by, I think Arbusion spun Dodge, which then put Farmer Sam into him, giving him no wing. And then I don't know what happened to Fluxy. And then obviously Drix got taken out and all of that as well, so that's really unfortunate for Drix again. He took pole position with a good lap. It was a decent lap, like ahead of Lights, and it was a decent lap. And unfortunately for him, he is now out of this race, so no points for him. Hayoni has now dropped back from the leader, so Lights really on it today with the pace. Well, Werribee drops right back as the Lights sets the fastest lap, 1:13.9. As DRS will be enabled at the end of lap 17. Apex now catching Hayoni, so is Apex going to challenge for the win on Lights? Apex started all the way. Let's see the positions gained actually since the start of this race. So Apex started in P5 in this race. So he was not on the pace in qualifying for the race win. The biggest gainers though, Hayoni up 14 positions into P2. Kufu Cowboy up 12 and Arbusion also up 12. The biggest loser is, that's the biggest loser that's still in the race is Fluxy, lost 9 positions. As Apex all over the back of the McLaren. He is looking good. Hayoni in his first full-time race in AFR, driving for McLaren. As now Apex will now get the DRS, and the slipstream is going to get right pushed to the inside of the pit wall almost, but Apex takes that position into P2. Now can Apex challenge for the lead of this race on Lights? Apex on 10 lap-old mediums versus Lights on 12 lap-old hards. Can Apex catch Lights for this race win? Kufu Cowboy also in DRS of Arbusion. I think Arbusion actually passed the Ferrari driver. Because Kufu Cowboy was in P5 earlier, now he's in P6. As Farmer Sam on the back of Fluxy at the back, like the very back. He should pass him quite easily here. Yeah, here he goes. Striker, unsurprisingly, saved the fastest lap on those fresh softs. As well, this is an absolutely chaotic race. I'm glad I came back to see this because this is absolute chaos. Apex is not really catching. I mean, if you're on 10 lap on mediums versus 12 lap old hards, the mediums would actually be worse with 10 laps older compared to hards on 12 laps because obviously the mediums degrade more, but Apex is catching lights very slightly, so we could see a bit of a battle for the lead. Maybe, we'll see. As now Striker on those fresh softs looking to pass Z-Dog. This is the only battle on the track at the moment that's within DRS. That's why we're watching it. Striker now, as now Hayoni has spun out. Hayoni has spun out at turn 8 there, so he's dropped the position that McLaren, he was doing so well, but now he's dropped all the way down to P7. Maybe P8, yep, he's got behind his teammate. So that's not good for Hayoni there. Oh, and Cade let him go. I don't know why. But that puts Weary Boy into P3, Albusion into P4, Kufa Cowboy into P5, Mickey in P6. So at least Mickey can hopefully salvage points for the AlphaTauri team after King J's demise. And now, yeah, King J on the back of his teammate and Striker on the back of the Williams of the Z-Dog. Not a good race for the Williams, guys. Looking to score no points if Striker's softs last long enough, he'll be in the points right now. And obviously M-Dog out of this race after that incident early in the race where he was a bit stuck on the curb. But now Striker should be able to get the Z-Dog here with DRS. Fresh softs should be easy into turn 1. Oh no, maybe not. Striker's not going for it into turn 1 there. The two McLarens also fighting it out. As now Dodge also catching those guys. The Dodge catching the two McLarens, Cade and Hayoni. And also Striker is alongside the Williams driver, Z-Dog, but doesn't quite get that move. This is making Fluxy and Farmer Sam catch up. So there's a battle for the final point, which are all four of them were involved in the incident with Drix and when Dodge got spun around. All these four were involved in the incident, and now they're fighting for the final point. 24 seconds behind the pack, albeit, but they're still fighting for the final point. It's going to be a good one, I think. Seems like the closest fight on the track at the moment. The back of the field of this race, 5 retirements, 13 drivers remaining. The back of the field, of course, P10, P11, 12 and 13, that's what we're watching right now. As now, Striker looking to go on the outside, he's going to go for a better exit onto the straight. No, he's not quite there. Striker's also used a lot of ERS. He's flashing on the back of his car. So Striker is struggling to get past. We did mention Zandvoort is a difficult track to overtake at, and well, we can see it right now. Even on softs, Striker is struggling to pass the Williams on hard tyres. Let's run on board with the Ferrari. Actually, let's run on board with the Aston Martin behind Fluxy. We'll have a good view of this battle. Okay, but now Fluxy has got a bit of run. He's got the DRS. As he looks to the outside, doesn't quite get that move. He's going to go for a switchback. Fluxy doesn't quite get it, so once again, passing proving to be difficult in this circuit. But now Striker's tyres are starting to be degrading, I think. The soft tyres obviously degrade very quickly. And I think Striker is starting to feel that happening, and now he's really dropping back from the Z-Dog. As now Cade has passed his teammate, Hayoni, on the straight into turn 1. Our Cooper Cowboy has left the session. The driver in 5th place, looking for his first points of the season, has disconnected. Can he come back and score those points? That's the question now. Hayoni has spun once again as Striker comes into the pits. Those softs were not going to last. But Hayoni has spun once again into P9. Hopefully Cooper Cowboy can join back, because he's in a solid position right now, on it for his first points of the season. I really hope he can come back and score those points. Because if he doesn't, that'll be extremely unlucky for him. Like, he's on for his first points and on merit. Like, he's just stayed out of trouble and everything. Like, he does deserve that result, but it'll be really unlucky if he disconnects, if it's all taken away due to a disconnection. I hope he can come back. Fluxy on the back of the Z-Dog now, as well as Farmer Sam in the Alpine. Nothing has gone right for the Farmer Sam today. He was changing to another set of the intermediate tyres earlier. He got a 5-second penalty for speeding the pit lane, changed his front wing, went to mediums, went on to hards in the pit stop, serving his 5-second penalty. And also 30 seconds behind the pack, then gets involved in the safety car restart, the first incident at the safety car restart, involving King J and others. And now on the second restart, he gets involved in an incident again, completely loses his front wing, crashed into the side of Dodge, who's got spun out. Like, it's just not gone right for him. But at least he's in a battle and having some fun still, even if it's not for really anything useful. It's 1 point that they're fighting for here. Z-Dog staying consistent though. He is not making any mistakes and is defending very well from these two behind. But can Fluxy finally get past? No, he can't. He doesn't have the ERS power to get that done, as Mickey passes the AI of Kufu Cowboy. So unfortunate for Kufu Cowboy. He is still not in the session. Really unfortunate for Kufu Cowboy, on for his first points of the season, and he's now disconnected. And he'll not score. If he doesn't come back soon, he'll not score. Oh no, he's back now, so he can still have a chance to get them back. He still has a chance to get them back. He still has a chance. I hope he can get them. I hope his AI doesn't pit. That would be a real shame. That would be really, really bad if his AI pits. But now look at Cade all over the back of that AlphaTauri. That is very, very close to the McLaren driver. But now Mickey getting a good exit on Kufu Cowboy there. It was Kufu Cowboy's AI anyway. Mickey gets past into P5. Cade will now go on the inside of his AI, and Cade gets into P6. Fluxy's still behind the Z-Dog. So he's really struggling to get past. Let's see, can he get past now? Fluxy is 1/10 behind, but he's having a little look on the inside. Z-Dog leaves in the room, but still doesn't get past. The Z-Dog doing some good defending right now, getting that final point secured at the moment, but Fluxy trying to look around the outside into the banked corner. Turn 3, he's got a good exit. Side by side around here. Around the outside, Fluxy will get that done into the final points place position, and Farmer Sam also gets that move done. Z-Dog loses 2 places. He defended really well in those last few laps, but finally loses those positions to Fluxy and Farmer Sam. Fluxy now in the final point position, P10. Let's see, I think Cougar Cowboy has now joined back. So he can still get a points finish, driving through his own... Yeah, he's back. I can tell by the steering. So Cougar Cowboy not back in the session. He still has a chance to score his first points. Because if you disconnect for long enough, you don't get points. So I was hoping that he would come back and drive to the end to get those points. Because, like I said, if you disconnect for a certain amount of laps, you don't get classified. So I was hoping that he would come back and score those points with his own driving instead of his AI's driving. And hopefully it looks like he's doing it right now. So he's back now, obviously, and holding off Dodge quite well. Lights comes into the pits. What's happening here? Lights in the pit lane. 22 laps on hards. What's he planning here? Going to softs or mediums? He's going for the two-stop strategy. Well, this is interesting. So Lights pitting from the lead. Comes out in P3. Just ahead of Arbusion. Crucially ahead of Arbusion. He didn't want to get held up by the Haas driver. So Lights pitting for the race lead. This is going to be very interesting to see if he can catch up to... It's going to be interesting to see if he can come back to get back into the lead. So Lights now on the medium tyres, fresh medium tyres. And can he catch? What will these two do though? Lights has decided to gamble and gone for an extra stop, but what will Weruboy and Apex do? Will they stay out until the end? Or, well actually, I think Apex will have to pit again, he's on mediums. But what will Weruboy do? Will Weruboy go all the way to the end? We'll see what happens. I really wonder if Weruboy will go all the way to the end on those hards. It's going to be very interesting if he does. He has to do some really good tyre saving. There's still 7 laps to go. And then Lights will be catching fast. Like, if they do stay out to the end, Lights will have to put in some great laps, not make any mistakes, stay consistent, and just keep on catching. As I said, that Weruboy has now crashed out. Is it? If that's a safety car, no, it is a safety car. That will help Apex quite a lot there. Weruboy out of this race, he was in such a good position, but now crashes out in turn 2. But that will help Apex massively. That has absolutely helped. Apex has been absolutely gifted. He has got extremely lucky there. That was a strategy that was not going to work at all. He was going to... he was not going to make mediums last to the end of that race. He's got extremely lucky here, so Apex could well be coming out in the lead if he pits where he should pit. But yeah, it's unfortunate for Weruboy. I was hoping that maybe there could be something interesting with Weruboy versus the Light strategy, but here we go, Apex coming into the pits. Should be for softs, and it is. Will Lights pit for softs as well? No, he stays out. Lights stays out. That's interesting. Oh no, Lights is still on the... Okay, Lights is going to come out ahead of Apex. It's going to be a very interesting ending to this race, that's for sure. Lights staying out on those fresh mediums, but Apex pitting for the softs. And we'll be on fresh softs as well, faster tyres. This battle for the lead is going to get right down to the wire. Right down to the wire. Arbusion, Cooper Cowboy, Dodge, Mickey, Hayoni, Fluxy, and Farmer Sam, and Zedog all pinning for the softs. Striker also staying out on the mediums, and Cade staying out on the hards. 19 laps old. Interesting strategy as well from Cade there. I wonder how that's going to work out. I don't think he'll be that quick coming into this restart. So we've had 3 safety cars today, an absolutely chaotic race. And I'm glad I came back to watch it because this is an insane race. This is gonna become very interesting now. Apex got lights just pitted for those mediums, but Apex on fresh softs is going to be challenging him for this win. So we'll finally have a battle for the win in these last few laps here in Zandvoort. This is going to be it's going to be a really good race. This is going to be a really good ending to this race. Don't count out Arbusian though on those soft tyres. He'll challenge Cade on those hards for sure. Arbusian has a chance to get a podium here. And if Kufi Cowboy doesn't disconnect again, he has a chance once again, like I said, for his first points finish. And same with Dodge. Dodge will also be on for his first points finish of the season. That's what happens in a crazy race like this. People who have no points in the season so far will potentially get a points finish, and here we are. So yeah, Kufi Cowboy and Dodge not scored any points this season. I don't think Hayoni, because Hayoni did score points in the race he drove in, but he was disqualified because he wasn't in the VC in the AFR Discord, which is a rule you have to be. It's mandatory to be in the voice chat in the AFR Discord. So, and he wasn't in it, so he was disqualified from a points finish in Saudi when he raced. In Saudi, he scored points, but he was disqualified, so he doesn't have any points either. So Hayoni is also on for a points finish for the first time. So three people today on for their first points. So Kufi Cowboy, Dodge, and Hayoni. So this is going to be a very interesting last few laps. Lights on the mediums, Apex on the softs. The battle for the lead will be very spicy right now. It'll be very spicy coming into these last few laps. Let's focus on Lights and Apex for the most of these last few laps, because this is going to be a great battle. The Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull. The two teams, I think, that are in the top 2 in the constructors as well. I don't know. So here we go, Apex with a good restart. Is he going to look to go? He's going to look to the inside of him. Oh, not quite there. Cade would slow down the pack as well on those hards. Here we go. Arbusian already challenging him in the hards. He's got past Arbusian into the podium place. It's Kufi Cowboy. Oh, and Kufi Cowboy's been hit by the Aston Martin, but he saves it. That was well saved by the Ferrari. And now more chaos in the midfield as there's cars everywhere. Kufi Cowboy defending the inside for the McLaren of Hayoni, but not quite there. It doesn't get the place, and now he's just being mugged as the Ferrari. Farmer Sam now on for a comeback. Obviously, Farmer Sam, one of the fastest drivers this season, and he is on for a points finish again. Mickey drops down to P9. Apex and Lights far in front already in 2 seconds ahead of Arbusian, as now the AlphaTauri and the Aston Martin side by side. Fluxy and Mickey side by side. Fluxy gets that move done on the AlphaTauri as Z-Dog right behind the striker as well. But here we go, Apex is on the back of Lights, sets the fastest lap on those mediums. But Apex is looking very aggressive. He is looking very desperate to get to this lead. Here we go, he's got great traction. Is he going to get this lead? Here we go. Lights and Apex, they battle for the lead back in Saudi as well, in Jeddah, round 2 of the season. They also battle for the lead in Bahrain. Actually, no, Bahrain. Lights crashed the car. Apex did fight for the lead in Bahrain with someone else though. But here we go. This is going to be very, very tight. As Fluxy passes Farmer Sam, so Fluxy obviously showing his pace. He was obviously qualifying P3, so he's showing his pace and catching up to the field. But here we go, Apex. 4/10 behind the Alfa Romeo driver. The championship leader, Lights, on for his 3rd win in a row, but will Apex stop him from doing that? Here we go, is Apex going to get the overtake? DRS now enabled. The Red Bull will be in the range. As Striker passes Mickey, Mickey is now down to P12 and at the back of the field. As now Fluxy passes Cooper Cowboy, so Fluxy really catching up through this grid. Will he be up there with his teammate Aston Martin on for a good points haul? There's now Dodge. Dodge is dropping down to P7. What's going? Oh, and he's got hit by the Ferrari. He got absolutely swiped. Oh, he's got wing damage. Has Dodge? He's got damage. That's what's happened there. That's why he dropped so many places. So it does look like that Fluxy will be in P4 at least. And now Apex has dropped back a little bit from Lights. So the softs are already degrading on that car. Lights, once again, to stay consistent. He's made the right call once again. Mediums were the right choice in the end. Apex on the softs. They just degraded too quickly, unfortunately, so didn't get that battle for the lead that we were hoping for. Yeah, Lights also says the fastest lap, so he's really on it again. 1:12.8. What a fastest lap that is. Now, we need to watch Fluxy here. He is absolutely carving his way through the field. As now Hayoni goes back up the inside of the Aston Martin driver. And this will be side by side towards the next section. Oh, Hayoni hanging on in there, but the Aston Martin gets to P5. Fluxy, what a comeback. He gets involved in so many instances today, but he's come back up to the top 5. He'll get P4 though, because Cade on those hard tyres will definitely be slow. If Apex and Lights is not going to be close, then we might as well watch Fluxy carve his way through. Oh, and Cade has completely lost the car. That will put Fluxy past him into 4th place. Fluxy with a great comeback there, the Aston Martin, but now Cade trying to look up the inside again. But now Cade should not hold up Hayoni. The two McLarens, obviously. Hayoni on soft tyres, Cade on the hards, different strategies. Cooper Cowboy P7 just behind. Final lap of this race. Here we go. Hayoni looking on the inside of, so it's Cade, sorry, on the inside of Fluxy. He has got back pass on the hard tyres. So that was a great dive. And now the other McLaren looking on the inside. Oh, and Hayoni almost losing it again, so he's really fighting the car. Can Fluxy get back past the Aston Martin? So, I mean, Fluxy get back past the McLaren, I should say. But now here we go. The final corners of this race. Lights on those mediums. It looks like he was going to be a battle, but Lights, for the 3rd time in a row, the championship leader, takes the race win in Zandvoort and takes the win in Tier 3 for the 3rd time in a row. Apex in 2nd place. Good drive from him and good comeback. Arbusion, though, on for his first podium of the season. What a drive from him. Cade in P4 holds off those people on the hard tyres. What a drive from him as well. Fluxy P5, Hayoni P6. Cooper Cowboy with his first points of the season in 7th. Dodge also with his first points of the season in 8th. What a chaotic race that was. Arbusion, fully deserved driver of the day. I think he started last due to those pedal issues when he crashed in qualifying. So Arbusion scoring a podium for Haas. So what a great drive. But no one could stop Lights today. Took the lead on lap 1 from his pole-sitting teammate and never looked back. Absolutely dominated. Or mostly dominated. But yeah, that's now a hat-trick of race wins for the Alfa Romeo. And he's on good form at the moment. He is looking like the favourite for the championship. After 4 races, he's definitely looking like the favourite for the championship. 3 wins in a row for Lights. Apex, he was trying his best to challenge. If he had DRS there at the restart, I definitely think that he would have challenged for the lead. So here we go. Lights wins the race for the 3rd time in a row. He won in Saudi, he won in Spa, and now he wins in Zandvoort. Apex in 2nd place. Arbusian, his first podium of the season, starting from P18. Kane in P4, holding off those guys on the hard tyres. Fluxy in P5, Hayoni in P6, Kufa Cowboy in P7, scoring his first points. Farmer Sam in P8. It's a good recovery, at least for Farmer Sam, at least some points for him. Dodge also with his first points this season in P9. Striker salvaging a point in 10th. Both Ferraris in the points. And unfortunate there for the Z-Dog and Mickey scoring out of the points. And the DNFs, a lot of DNFs, 6 of them. Boy, Drinks, the M-Dog, Sky Souls, Rat, and King J. So that was an insane race. Absolutely insane. One of the most chaotic races that I've watched in a while, I reckon. That was so many crashes, 3 safety cars, and even almost a battle for the lead. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you all see this, and I hope there's a highlight made of this, because it does deserve to be highlighted in my opinion. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the race, and see you later.